Can you ever forgive me? I'm Alvin King, and this is We Speak. On today's show, it's all about forgiveness. And a little word with a lot of impact, hate, is in our second half. So, panel, are you ready to talk about forgiveness tonight?
Yes.
Depends. What did you do that I need to forgive you for?
The act of forgiveness is giving up the hope that the story will change. Do you agree or do you disagree with that?
That's the first time I've ever heard that.
I'm almost confused.
What does that mean?
The act of forgiveness is about thinking that the story, giving up the hope that the story will change, meaning that it was one way, and in order to forgive someone, you will have to think differently. No?
Basically, it sounds like you're going to give up. You're going to say, okay, you're right, I'm wrong. I'll give in. This is not going to change, so I'm just going to forgive you. We're going to move on with the story.
Is that forgiveness or
Passive aggressiveness.
yeah,
and then
yeah,
you're
that's
going to be
like I just
resentful
had
about
enough,
it
and
later.
I just need to move on to something
Right,
else.
but if I'm going to give up hope that's going to change, then it's not really I'm not forgiving you.
I actually heard this at a concert. I won't say whose concert, but they said that forgiveness is me giving up my right to hurt you for hurting me.
Say that one more time, Riley.
Forgiveness is me giving up my right to hurt you for hurting me.
Okay.
Giving up my right of revenge. Did I say that right?
You did. I get
Yeah,
it. I get it.
yeah.
Get it.
It's all so cerebral to me. It's a little bit different than I'm used to thinking about forgiveness, I think.
Well, how do you see forgiveness?
I mean, I think forgiveness, it has to be a genuine feeling of I understand what you've done or how I feel about what you've done, and I'm going to let it go.
Yeah, I may not agree with it.
Exactly.
I didn't like it. I still don't like it.
Exactly.
But I'm not going to hold on to it and let
Right.
it keep me trapped.
Okay.
See, I just feel like forgiveness is not amnesia. You know what I mean? Like I forgive you and I move on, but I don't forget about it.
Right.
It's not amnesia.
I took a forgiveness course.
You did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a course?
There's a course. Ayala does it through Oprah.com.
Of course she does it.
It was a forgiveness.
Teaches you
Not
how to
on my
forgive.
watch.
Mhm. And well, I guess it helps you explore different situations where you didn't know that forgiveness was required. You know how sometimes you don't realize that there are things that you're harboring, that you're holding inside, and then it causes you to react or act or treat somebody a certain way. So it's like the first day of the course, you were talking about, or she asked you to write down things that you're feeling about certain people and why. And then I just started writing, and then I realized, oh, wait, I haven't forgiven this person when they did such and such. Oh, this person lost this, or this person stole this, or I knew this person lied about this, and you think you've moved on, and then you really find out you've never really moved on.
I have that happen a lot to me. I think in my head because I know we're supposed to forgive, and it's just easier to kind of like just move on. But in a sense, so the next time something happens, I blow up, and I'm like, oh, that was probably still from the last time.
Right. So it's like, it's not about you. This is nothing to do with you.
It is. I mean, it's about this. It's about, it could be about the same person or the same type of issue, but I have a problem with letting things go, really.
You should take the course.
Letting things go without closure.
Well, I think it's closed because I just feel like I need to move forward. Like I can't stay in this space.
What do you need the other person to do in order for you to let it go? Admit they were wrong?
I don't know. Bow down
Beg
and
you?
worship me or something. No, it's not really. It's not really that. It's not. I don't expect that. It's just that, I think sometimes once you've wronged me, I'm kind of like, I will never see you the same again.
That's so Gemini.
Well, I had to I discovered the art of forgiveness at a very early age because I came from a home that was filled with domestic violence. And so I had to learn, probably by the age of 6, how to forgive my dad, even at a point, at a place when I didn't know what forgiveness really was. And to be honest, from 6 to probably 30, I carried that unknown feeling until I was able to get some professional help and realize, okay, so this is what all that was all about. So as a child, learning about forgiveness is a lot different than it is for me as an adult. So I don't know how that plays into your lives.
It's so funny you mentioned that, because I grew up in the same type of household, and I spent so many years being upset with my stepfather because he was the quote unquote monster in the house, and I just thought that as I got older I didn't have to deal with him. So I said, you know what, I forgive him. But then I was still having these same feelings. But what I realized is I had to forgive my mom. I saw it that it was just his fault, but it was more so her fault than his, because you kept us there. You were the adult, you were the person that should have gotten us and taken us away. So I didn't realize until I got older. I was like, I have to forgive my mom, and it was so hard to tell her that, because she was like, I'm so sorry, but I didn't see it the way that I should have seen it when I was younger. That I needed to forgive her.
It's definitely a different feeling.
Do you think it's easier? Do you think kids they're easier? I can't talk. They can forgive easier than adults because they're not jaded by certain things. Like when you're a kid, you can kind of forgive and forget faster than when you have come of age.
I personally don't think that it's easier. I just think that as a child, you have other avenues or other areas, other outlets that won't allow you to think about what's really going on. You're impacted by it, but you have playgrounds, you have some of us who may have friends, that peanut who lived next door. You could go play with someone else and not really have to focus until you went back in the house about what was really going on. So you had outlets, but as an adult, you have to face so many things head on just because they are.
Is it more difficult because as an adult you are still dealing with residuals?
I would say yes. In terms of being hard,
Yeah.
I think it was for me because, like I said, by the time I got to that age where I needed to get some help, and I use the word needed, where I needed to get some help, I was at a place where, wow, I knew that I was a different person than I was portraying myself to be. And when I did the work, all of the things about not forgiving or being able to forgive or knowing what it meant came out. So for me, that's how it played out in my life.
Bravo.
Do you believe in forgiveness, or do you feel that it gives people permission to hurt you again?
That's funny because one of the things in the course that I took, one of the most important things about it was a lot of times people think that forgiving someone kind of sends the message to them that it's okay. But forgiveness has absolutely nothing to do with the other person. It has everything to do with you and how you feel about the situation and how you really just want to be released of all of it.
That's what I was
So
gonna
it's not
say,
permission. It's definitely not permission.
Yeah, forgiveness is for yourself so that you can move on and you can let go. It has nothing to do with the other person.
Is that easier said than done when it's happening to you, when you have to forgive?
Well, I think sometimes, like,
Excuse me.
you can forgive somebody and they don't even know that you forgave them. It is not just
not their
about like I
business.
forgave you. It's you did it. It's internal, so you moved on. It isn't. It's not always a conversation.
heart doesn't see race.
Love has no age limit.
That's my best friend.
We are neighbors and best friends.
We all have different religions, but we have universal love as well.
I love my sister.
Love is love.
Our family is no less than any other family.
Under what circumstances could you forgive an act of domestic violence committed against you? And I want you to think broad, because domestic violence can be a number of different things. It could be verbal, it could be, what do you call it?
Financial now, that's the new thing.
It could be
Emotional.
have many aspects.
Well, let me read my pre-recorded message. As a Christian woman, the Bible says that we must be forgiving. And all. No. I mean, we're all humans, and it's hard just to forgive someone for something small. So when you think about something that's that large, I don't know under what circumstance. Maybe if they apologized and it was sincere, and they assumed responsibility for their actions, and I believed it, I would forgive them. That doesn't mean I would put them in an environment where they could do it to me again. But I mean, forgiveness is what? It's just me releasing myself. It's not permission.
And then if you got the chance to get revenge, would you take it?
I don't even need the chance. I'll create the chance. I'll make something happen.
Right. See, that's the thing. I'm not a vengeful person. Like, it never crosses my mind to seek revenge on someone for something they've done to me. As far as, forgiving, I'm in a space now, I try to forgive myself more than being so concerned about giving someone else, because I feel as a man now, a lot of the decisions and situations that I get into, I walk into them knowing what's going to happen, what's going on. And so I focus now more so of forgiving myself. Like, you know what, I did that, I knew it was coming, and I just, I forgive myself for allowing that to happen.
I think that's important.
That's very
Forgive
important.
the other person and then forgive yourself.
But have you ever had a case where that was hard, where you had to think, am I doing the right thing by forgiving this person?
I have, because I had so much evidence against this person as to why I shouldn't forgive them. But at the end of the day, the most important evidence was I allowed it. For my case, was I allowed it. Regardless of what I had stacked up, against them, the most important thing was I allowed it. So,
something that Shayna said about the spiel that you were supposed to read about,
Right.
according to the Bible. Being a Christian, now where I am in my life, I, again, understand the art of forgiveness. And I know that I should not hate, I should forgive people. It's not easy. It is not easy, but I'm better at it. But there are times when I have to really look at my religion and say, okay.
For the strength
Okay, for
to do
the
it.
strength that I need.
Right.
It's just not easy. Under what circumstances could you forgive an act of disloyalty from a friend?
That's the hardest for me. Because I think I'm really a loyal person for the most part. I have good intentions, I feel like. And I feel like with friendships, that's the only thing you have. If you move, especially if you move from city to city, if you move from a place that you don't have family, your friends are really all you have. And then they become your family. So you do expect them to be loyal. So I think when something like that happens, that's extremely difficult for me to ever come back from. I guess, but it also depends on, are they really apologetic? Are they sincere with what happened? Are they open about talking about it? Because that makes a difference too, But that's a difficult one for me.
Well, my question is, when we're thinking in terms of forgiveness and how easy it is to do it, forgiveness for me doesn't mean that we have to continue being friends. It doesn't mean that we have to maintain that friendship.
Exactly.
It means I'll forgive you, which means if you're on fire, I'll spit on you or something to try to help. I mean, because I'm a great Christian woman and I'm going to forgive you and offer my
Put that
spit.
fire out.
But that doesn't mean that we're going to be friends.
Right.
Like, because that totally changes the dynamics.
Yeah.
right.
I think, like Richie said, when a friend does something that's disloyal, that's probably the hardest for me too, because you confide in your friend. You tell your friends things about you so that they can understand you, so that perhaps they won't do those disloyal things. And then when they turn around and do it, that can be, I mean, so heavy. And being the outspoken person that I am, I really let my friends know that, wow, you really blanked up. You know, I don't hold that back. And some of the things can be pretty minor, because I think if you're a friend, you shouldn't do that.
But you know what the thing about the tough thing about forgiveness is that if you don't do it, then eventually you're going to end up in that same situation, and someone's going to need to forgive you.
What goes around comes around.
I mean, that's just the way it works. I mean, I think it just happens that way. So you have to, I wrestle with that because I know that it's going to come back around.
And because we're imperfect.
Yeah.
We're imperfect, and we've all been forgiven for so much. So we have to continue. How can we, as the Bible says,
That's right.
how can we expect to
God
be forgiven
forgives us, so we can
if we
forgive
are
other
not
people.
able to forgive? So
right.
yeah.
Are you more apt to forgive someone who's messed with your money or who have messed with your relationship?
Ooh.
I don't have too much money, so. So we can laugh about that. Like, you tried it, but
Didn't get too far.
You didn't get too far.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, my food, my family, my food.
Your food?
My food,
Yeah,
my
we
family,
left out a couple of them, right?
my man, and my money. I mean, not in that order. Because, yeah, not in that order. Yeah, I don't play with any of those.
Yeah, I don't.
I mean, I'm willing to forgive on most circumstances, but you still can't be back around any of those 5 categories again. Especially not my food. I said food first, right?
You did. You did.
Yeah. If you mess with any of those, it's a problem.
Well, on the whole money thing, you know, it goes to borrowing. When people want to borrow money from you, when your friends want to borrow money from you. And because you're friends, they should kind of know about your financial situation and know that, you know,
You got it.
you
They know
got
you
it.
got it.
You know, and if you say that, if you say that you're going to give it back, then you really should do that. I think the money part is an easy way to damage a friendship, because when it comes to relationships, the other person, the person you're in a relationship with, should have better sense to not do something with your friend. So I'm gonna be a little mad with a friend, but then I'm gonna look at my relationship and say, come on now. I'm gonna look at that as well, and look at, our relationship, for you to, you know, do something like that with one of my friends. So, Richard, you having a moment over there.
I'm trying to really
record?
process that because I'm thinking to myself, I mean, my relationship with money and my friends is I feel like quite different from what you described. I mean, I think just with some of my close friends, money is kind of fluid between all of us. And so if someone's in need, it's just, it's there. It's not a question. They've never said, can I borrow this? Well, I can say that to certain people, certain friends, and they'll be like, okay, here it is. And then they say, give it back. And I'm like, okay, you know, and it's just, it's that easy. But it's like for certain friends, it's like, no, it's not even a question. And that's how we roll. So that's a difficult one to answer. But like, if you're my friend and then you come near somebody I'm talking to, now that's an entirely different thing. Like if we're in a relationship and you know that, like, no.
Well,
That's a no, but they can borrow money and not give it back, and you're good with that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, for
I
me,
will
like,
see
I
you in
don't.
your wallet later on today.
I have this thing where if I loan you money, I only loan money if I can afford to never get it back.
Oh, wow.
So if I loan it to you, I want you to give it back, but I'm only going to give it to you if I can afford to never get it back, because I've seen relationships ruined by money, whether it was a friendship or family member. Money, borrowing money and all that can ruin relationships. So I'm not saying don't give it back, but I owned it to you if I can afford. I'm not counting on it back to, you know, go towards a bill or something like that. You know what I mean? So if I give it to you, that's because I can afford to not get it back. Although I do want you to do the right thing and give it back, you know.
That's
just
the perk of not having money. It's the one comes to me for money.
You don't have to worry about it.
Don't have to worry about it.
That's
We're
hilarious.
good. We're going to be friends.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a commercial break, and we will be right back. Thank you.
When some people struggle with their mortgage payments, they become frozen, petrified. Not knowing what to do, they do nothing. But the people who take action are far more likely to get the most positive outcome. Making home affordable is a free government program. Call now to talk one-on-one with a housing expert about the options that are right for you. Real help, real answers, right now.
Are you ready?
Ready or not, here I come.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
Yes. Back to the club.
Don't worry, 74 people were picked before me in the NFL draft. To fight childhood obesity, United Way and the NFL are helping kids play more. To donate or volunteer, go to unitedway.org/play60.
Now I get it.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight's show is all about forgiveness. My next question to the panel is, how have you ever have you ever had to forgive a family member?
Yes. Oh, that was a little too Yes. I've had to forgive a lot of people in my family, but mostly my parents. I forgive them for everything and blame them for nothing. And that took a lot of work and a lot of years and a lot of soul searching and a lot of conversation, but it's wonderful because it helped to repair our relationship, but I forgave them long before our relationship was repaired.
I know recently you talked about the relationship that you and your mom now have.
Mm-hmm. She just called me like during the commercial break.
Have you talked to her about the way things were?
Mm-hmm.
And
because I'm not one of those people that time heals everything, or like let's just pretend like nothing happened and let's just be friends, or let's just, no, we need to have a conversation about, I need to know why it happened the way that it happened, and I need you to understand what it was that I went through as a result, so that we never get back to that place. And then we move on, and I dropped it completely. I've dropped it. I think about it now because I think about how amazing it is now and how bad it was. But I don't think about it in a way that I'm like holding on to something, I still need answers. I don't need any more answers. I got all the answers I needed.
I know I have 5 brothers. In my family is 5 boys and 1 girl. And I was next to the baby and closest to my mother. And when my mother passed away, my 3 older brothers, I was different growing up. I didn't do the things that they did. And I never knew how they felt about me until my mom passed away. And because I was her favorite, she left me, and I was at that age where I could organize all of her, her estate. They just let loose on me. And I was this person that I never thought I was to them. And I had to forgive them. And 2 of my brothers actually passed away before I could have that conversation. And I struggle with that because as an adult, I know they would appreciate who I am right now, but at that moment, they were very angry and dealing with their own issues, and they chose to lash out on me. So I never got a chance to close that chapter of my life. And I think about that often. So.
How long did it take after when she passed away to where you were to the point where you could forgive them?
Oh, well, see, at that age, I was Let me see. I was Alvin, look at me now kind of thing. You know, I'm like, well, you know, in my mind, I felt like I got over it quickly. But probably, I think 6 or 7 years beyond that, when I still wasn't speaking to them, I started thinking, wow, you know, and again, doing the work that I told you I was doing, I never got I think it probably took me like probably 10 years to get over it. But again, in that 10 year, they passed away. So, yeah, about 10 years.
I feel like forgiveness is a lot easier than people think. Because we've all somehow been forced to have to do it. Like, for instance, with exes. You know, if you had ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend, it doesn't mean that forgiving them doesn't mean that you want to be back with them. It doesn't mean that you wanted to still be friends with them even. But you had to forgive them in order for you to move on and get into another relationship and not carry that baggage into the other relationship. So I feel like sometimes you're forced to have to deal with forgiveness a lot more than, and I think it becomes a lot easier as we get older and we realize that people, you know, people come in and out of your life. You know, when you're younger, I think it's you get so devastated when, you know, you go through a bad breakup or somebody does something wrong to you, and you feel like I just can't, you know, like forgiving them is harder. But as you get older, it's just sort of like, okay.
Oh, I don't know about that, Rob.
For me, okay, I feel that way.
I don't know, but I think I just told you guys a couple of episodes ago. It was just 3 years that I was like, what did you do? And how did I let you do that? So, and it took me, wow, a while to get over that. So, and as an adult, I wish I could have gotten over it easier or faster.
But do you think it's the severity of the situation, though? Like if they did something a little...
No, honestly, I think it's more about I'm at a place now where I know exactly what I want, so I'm going for it, and when I spend my time in it, that's what I'm really hoping that it will be. So
you're
again,
invested.
Yeah,
I'm the amount of energy you give something.
Yeah, so that's why it hurts more now because I'm not getting any younger, even though the clock is still ticking. It's not. I'm still not getting any younger. So you know, yeah.
You know, sometimes I have used forgiveness as a weapon. You know, sometimes I forgave someone because I wanted you to see that I was the better person. And I wanted you to see how well I'm going to do without you. So it was more so, you know, I'm going to forgive you, but I want you to see how I'm going to grow from this. And, you know, all the crap that, you know, that they didn't understand. How could you just forgive me and just keep on going? So I think it was more damaging to them that I was like, you know what, I forgive you. But watch me grow.
And you show up at the club, and your skin is glistening, and
flawless.
And you know, your coif is done. And
Did you really forgive him though?
Ross, that sounds like faux forgiveness.
It sounded like
it was not. I did.
You front no forgiveness. Faux forgiveness.
Like that's what I want to know. Was it real?
The Lord is not pleased with that.
I can't speak for him. I'm just saying.
You say the best forgiveness is success. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, not forgiveness.
Revenge.
Best revenge.
Exactly.
And that's exactly what it is. However, forgiveness is, like I said, me giving up my right to hurt you for hurting me.
So then,
I don't
are
need to hurt
you
you.
Before you forgive someone, you have to accept what happened. You have to say, okay, this really, because a lot of people are in denial. Like, oh, it wasn't that bad. I'm just gonna move on. I'm gonna date somebody else, or I'm gonna get in another friendship group, without really accepting what happened. So you have to like, okay, this really did happen to me. I really allowed this to happen, and then you can say, okay, let's work on this forgiveness, because now I agree that this happened to me. I went through it. I allowed it, or how it happened, and then you get to forgiveness.
So did you really forgive him?
I did.
Okay.
It sounded like probably after the revenge.
I want to know the real deal.
After they saw me looking good.
See, yeah.
That ain't forgiveness.
Once you get the initial reaction, now I forgive you.
No, that's not forgiveness.
This is not forgiveness. Oh, I'm sorry. This is the revenge show.
Okay,
I had it confused.
That show already.
It's your turn now. Okay, so they're gonna call you Cray Cray later on.
And that's fine, you know.
There are so many myths surrounding forgiveness. I mean, like there are just so many myths, and yeah, Google myths to forgiveness, and folks will find it, and then you'll find you
me looking cute.
Mixing revenge and forgiveness. And yeah.
Some
I
type
don't know
of weird
if
potion.
you all heard her, but she said faux forgiveness. She came up with an
faux forgiveness.
Hashtag faux forgiveness.
Under my picture when I smile.
Spell it right.
But if your partner gave you a non-life-threatening STD, could you forgive them?
See, I feel like we've got to change these questions.
You're trying me right
I know
now.
the producers are going to be the back mad at me, but I feel like
that's what's happening.
No,
I mean,
we're forgiving everybody for everything. Now the question should be: are you still gonna mess with him? You still want to be with him? Are you still gonna be friends? Are you ditching him? What you gonna give one back? Like not. We've already said.
Did you say give one back?
Get one back.
well,
I got one for you.
I might get to that, but go ahead.
But we said we're gonna forgive everybody for everything because they're great Christian people with morals.
No, not so fast. Because some things, some people shouldn't be forgiven so quickly. Okay.
Well, let's talk about that.
Okay,
There's a time frame
well,
for which you can
so
forgive
quickly.
now.
But see, the thing about it is, I heard something that I saw it on Instagram,
to go through
and it said,
that.
"What you allow will happen." So if you allow something, then it's going to happen.
We teach people how to treat
Well, I mean, I think there's that too, but there's also like, I'm sure, I mean, you may not have known that you were going to get the STD. Otherwise, you wouldn't have allowed it. So I think in that situation,
Well,
it's kind of
if
like,
you
how
allowed
do you
yourself to be unprotected?
Now, how do you do it, and how do you deal with that
Well,
situation?
hold on. You're in a relationship with and I'm trying to keep this on this question here. You're in a relationship with someone who you trust, and you've been having unprotected sex for 2 or 3 years, and then all of a sudden, you have an STD.
It
didn't
doesn't
fall out
matter.
the sky. It did. You know what I'm saying? So, would you forgive a person who brought that into your bedroom?
2 years or 10 years, you're still taking a risk.
But would you forgive them?
The even bigger question is, you cheating.
That's the bigger question.
So that's are we forgiving that?
So now you got to forgive them for two things.
Right.
Exactly. So
The
I mean,
sexually transmitted disease
we can take
come
away
from
this
sex.
Because that amplifies it.
because the STD is just a result
A result of
the
what you're
cheating.
doing.
Well, it's compounded on top of because I know,
Exactly.
like I've heard people say, "You cheated on me and you went and got the chick pregnant." Like you compound.
Because you lied, then you cheated,
Like
and
I've
then
been
you
okay
gave me
with
an
the cheat,
STD.
but you gonna go and have a baby, and now I gotta see this baby for the rest of my life and constantly be reminded of the cheat. So those are compounded factors.
Oh, so are there levels to forgiveness, and what should be forgiven?
It depends on what works for you.
Yeah, and it depends on if you're using
and-
the forgiveness for yourself.
Right.
Forgiveness is supposed to be for you.
And for that, it's everything as forgiven.
And
Yeah.
all things
All
happen
is
in
forgiven.
time, I believe.
Yeah.
So you let karma take care of
Yeah,
them.
so on
You
that
call somebody
question-
named Karma.
Sometimes karma doesn't work fast enough.
Well, what about if you gave your partner a life-threatening, a non-life-threatening STD? Would you forgive yourself?
Oh Lord, that's some
A
counseling.
lot of sleeping around
That's
going
a
on.
counseling session, and not without help. Like that's all I can say.
But you would. But no matter how you got there, there's a chance that you would forgive yourself.
I mean, yeah, you gotta. I mean, eventually, we've all done things wrong, right? And we've all had to, at a certain point, say, you know what? I've got to stop beating myself up about this. Like, you can't do that, but for so long before you have to say, I have to forgive myself. You have to. I mean, it might, again, time.
Because you're sitting
It
there
may
beating
take
yourself
time, but
up, or with anything, not just if you've given
Yeah.
somebody else an STD, but just with anything, you have to forgive yourself.
Okay, so I'm not a psychiatrist or anything, and you all are not on my couch. However, in those two questions, it sounded to me like you would forgive yourself faster than you would forgive the person who gave you an STD. You would forgive yourself faster for giving them an STD more so than you would forgive them for giving you one.
I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that eventually, now I know myself, I would beat myself up for a long time about that.
For contracting it or forgiving it?
For
Or
both.
both.
Both, yeah.
That would take, I mean, again, it's compounded now because I just went and got it and now I just gave it. So
Right.
it's like, you know, that's like a double whammy.
Because you feel like I know better.
Yeah.
I'm an adult. I know better. I know what the risks are. So I would probably beat myself up for a while.
Hatred. That's a 6-letter word that carries a lot of weight. Are any of you capable of feeling hate?
In like a short burst.
We're human.
You know, like you
a
get
quick
me at that,
moment.
like when I just found out about it, you know, or whatever, like something happened, you know what I'm saying? Like I can like really, really feel that way, but it dissipates over time. Like I can't stay there long.
So the answer is yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially for things, not maybe so much for people, but for things, I can hate a lot of things.
I hate a lot of things.
Like, hated it. Yes. What was that, 80s or 90s? I'm in my 90s mode. But like, there are things that we hate. Like, I hate Brussels sprouts, but not really so much because I just started liking them. But when you're younger and I don't know, food I can hate, movies I can hate, places, people
places,
not really
yes.
so much.
Metro.
What's that?
I think hate sounds like a word. Hate is a word that we don't want to use, but some people get on your nerves so bad. I know they do that. There are some people in meetings that I'm in, and to hear their voice, that monotone voice for an hour, don't go there, Riley. Okay.
Bueller.
To hear that voice sometimes can annoy me to the point where I feel like I
Hate the voice.
Right.
Okay.
You just hate the person.
Okay.
The person of the voice.
I hate the voice.
carrier.
So I am capable of feeling hate about certain things. I get over it, but I do feel hate sometimes.
No, I can hate people.
I can.
Yeah. No, and I have, but it doesn't last for very long. Like, for instance, right at my last breakup, I hated him and the guy he cheated on me with. Oh, God. And the person he cheated on me with, I hated them. I hated them. And I was like, I hate. And I did. But I'm not today, a year later, no. But I did for a moment. Absolutely.
So
And
what
then-
would you do with that type of hate in that moment?
Well, you know what? And I think I told you this. This was really bad because I felt not myself, simply because I don't hate people typically. But it was the first time that I felt like I could honestly commit murder and get away with it consciously. Like, the only thing that I think that kept me from committing murder was I can't go to jail.
So you were 100% certain that you could get away with it.
I cannot go to jail, but I could get away with it consciously. I could have, because I hated them so much. But I don't feel like that today. Growth.
That's good.
That's great.
Yeah. But I genuinely hated them, and I even said to them, like I even said to him, that like, a part of me will always hate you for what you did to me, but a part of me will always love you for what you used to mean to me. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take another commercial break, and we'll be right back to talk a little bit more about hate. Stay tuned.
Today I'm going to talk about Patty. Patty's best characteristics, she's stupid. Stupid and ugly. Everything she does is ugly. Watch her eat. Watch her stuff her face. Look at her. Greasy hair, dirty fingernails. It makes me want to vomit. Get a life, Patty. Thank you.
Be free. Nice, Dad. Nice, Dad. Nice, Dad.
Charles!
Nice, Dad.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of siblings in foster care who'll take you just as you are.
Mom, can I have $1?
Yeah, it's right. I think my purse is upstairs on the bed.
It's not here.
Check the dining room.
No,
What about your sister's room?
it's not there either.
The upstairs closet? The downstairs closet?
There are no more closets.
Moms everywhere are finding ways to keep kids active and healthy. Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov.
Did I literally just say what I just said?
Yeah, you did. And I'm sort of thinking, you always have these prolific, like,
Yes.
I don't know if they're colloquialisms
Like,
or if they're idioms. But they're,
Yeah, we just hate you for spelling.
No. I meant what I blurted out about the garbage. I didn't mean to say that.
The who?
I said hate him. With the what? What?
Do we need the air on or you want to keep going?
What do you think? That's not what I meant.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Again, we're here talking about hate. Is hate an unavoidable emotion to you? Can you avoid it? Can you walk around all day with flowers popping out of your ears and people who run past you on the metro with their little rolling carts and everything?
Depends on where you live.
Or if you're in IKEA and everybody's children running past you while you're trying to buy your stuff and jumping on that bed that you want. Is it possible?
You should stay inside.
Or when people talk to you and they see a hot cup of coffee on your desk and you haven't even turned on your computer and they're just standing there having this long conversation. I can hate someone in that moment.
In that moment?
Yes.
When you're trying to get yourself together?
Right.
Is it hate or is that just annoyance?
In that moment, I hate you.
Severe annoyance. Because when I'm sitting in traffic and I'm trying to get somewhere and then people are just aloof and just in no apparent rush and they like the traffic and then they just sit and they chill. It's hella. It's a lot of annoyance, but I can't say I hate them. I hate being in the situation. I hate the circumstance.
I just think that holding on to hate, it's really unhealthy because then you start to it consumes you, and then you start getting headaches and anxiety and ulcers and heart attacks and all that stuff. It's just too much. It's just not worth it to hold on to it for that long.
Hearing you say that, it made me think of all the things that are going on in the world right now. Let's say, with Ferguson, for example, and, the thing in Baltimore. Is that hate you think that these people are feeling for what's going on?
Frustration.
To make them act that way?
Frustration.
But
I think that's response based on
retaliation.
This is like, if you keep pushing me, you know what I'm saying? If I keep doing this, eventually she's going to punch me in the face.
I'll punch you the first 3 times you do it.
I'm touching you.
I guess they hate the circumstance. They hate the condition. They hate feeling confined and trapped. And a lot of people hate feeling like I can't do anything about it. They feel helpless.
You don't think they hate police?
Well, they call them.
I do not believe that they hate police.
I hate the dirty ones.
I think that there is a frustration with them to the point where it's like, you can't keep doing this to us.
They might think that they hate them,
but I don't believe that's what it is.
I think you have a younger generation that are being raised by parents, and their parents are teaching them to hate the police. I think their parents are teaching them that the police are the enemy. When I was growing up, we had Officer Friendly. Officer Friendly came to our school once a week. We love the police. We never had any issues with the police. But now I think kids are being raised that the police are the enemy, that you can talk back to the police. You don't have to do what the police is saying.
Well, I think that's because their kids are probably talking back to the parents, so they're also going to talk back to the police.
So that's what I'm saying.
So I don't think the parents are saying
it's a new generation that see
the police are bad. I just think that there's a level of disrespect that's going on with anybody that's in an older generation from the younger generation, if that makes sense.
I was down on U Street one Friday night, and something had happened with this girl. She was standing there with like 4 or 5 kids, and the officer was trying to talk to her, and she just kept screaming at him, "You're racist, you're racist, you're racist." And he was just standing there talking. We were there, and I was just like, when did this become acceptable? That you just screaming at this officer, he's not doing anything, he's trying to get what happened, and she just kept screaming, and she picked up her phone, she started calling people. It's like, what is really happening here? You're not going to get to a resolution if you're not going to listen to what he's trying to figure out what happened. He wasn't here.
Well, and I know this is, I don't want to get too far off the topic, but when you talked about how when you were younger you had an Officer Friendly, when you were younger, some of the things that are occurring right now with how all this police brutality wasn't happening back then, to bring up some of these feelings and make these people who are protesting feel the way they do right now. And so I think some of it is hate with anger.
Was it not happening, or is it just now that we have social media that we know it's happening now?
That's a talk
exactly
show.
What it was.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's a difference.
It's getting caught on camera now.
It's getting caught on camera now. But and we're seeing it. And so the younger generation that were remiss from all of that, they're now seeing it. But again, do you think that they're doing this out of anger or frustration at such a young age?
Protesting?
Protesting, is it?
Protesting or looting? There's a difference, I think. I just want to be clear.
Protesting looters.
Well,
I want to be clear about that because I think
they've been mixed in the
intent
media
is
as
different.
one and the same, and they're not.
Yeah, you got to look at them as two different things. I personally feel.
Okay.
Right. You protest out of frustration.
Yeah.
You loot out of anger.
Out of anger, it's
Need,
a whole lot of
necessity.
different things.
I need things. I don't loot.
Well, you don't need them bad enough, clearly. You don't need them bad enough, clearly. Because
Well-
I mean, I think that they're opportunists. A lot of the looters are opportunists, and it has nothing to. Sometimes it has nothing to do. They could probably. All of the looters couldn't even tell you what happened with the case.
Exactly.
They're just following along. They see an opportunity and they jump on it.
Does hate truly take energy?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I
It
definitely-
can
Very
zap your
draining.
energy
A
too.
lot of energy.
Yeah.
Kill it. Just
A
take it
lot
all
of
down.
energy.
Can hate be taught?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes. Hate is taught.
Yeah, we see that with racism. We see that with prejudice.
Generational.
I've taken a juvenile in school. I've taken a juvenile delinquency course, and there were different theories talking about how delinquents become juvenile delinquents, and some of the theories that point to how a child is taught plays a huge part in them becoming a juvenile delinquent. Now, it doesn't mean that they have to live in some poverty-stricken area or area. They could also be rich kids that can go through that same type of treatment, or I'm sorry, lifestyle, and become a juvenile delinquent and learn the art of hate and all the things that would probably add to them being a juvenile delinquent. So, is hate healthy?
No.
Can it
Healthy
be healthy?
hate?
Healthy hate?
Healthy hate? Look
Well-
at Riley's face.
I don't know. No. I want to say no. I want to say no.
I'm gonna say no.
Well, it
how
depends
about-
on what you're hating, because if you hate honey buns,
But we just said
may
hate
be
takes a lot of
healthy.
energy.
because I
So
love honey buns.
But we also know that energy sometimes has to come out in some way. So if hate is a natural thing of that feeling that can happen to you, it has to kind of go through and process and come out. So it could be healthy to go through.
Could be a stage.
To help you look at
Grief.
yourself and reassess who you are and the situation and go through. You have to. It's like grieving.
well, if you're gonna look at it as a stage and you're gonna pass through it,
Right.
then yeah, okay.
Right. So
Don't stay
still
there.
disagree with
Don't
that.
set up camp. Right. Let it pass.
I still disagree with that.
It's a stage or not. You don't want to be on that stage.
It sounds crazy to me.
We're going to take another commercial break, ladies and gentlemen, and we will be right back. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, those boys are much too much. Those boys are much too much. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We're going to beat them and bust them. Beat them.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Let's get a little bit rowdy. R-O-W-D-Y.
Take time to be a
One
dad
more time.
today.
Oh, those boys are much too much. Those boys.
What if a disaster strikes without warning? What if life as you know it has completely turned on its head? What if everything familiar becomes anything but? Before a disaster turns your family's world upside down, it's up to you to be ready. Get a kit, make a plan, be informed today. Learn how at ready.gov.
We're going to move on to that I think it's a 6-letter word called hatred. Are any of you capable of feeling hate?
Cut. There's 5 letters in hatred.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh, my bad.
Ooh, and the shade
Oh,
returns.
you thinking hated.
Here we
You
go.
thinking hated.
Can y'all please put this on outtake?
I'm sorry.
That's
And you know, and what I did,
Hat red.
and what I did before I said it, I counted it.
I was counting when you said it. I was like, hey.
Hat and red.
I
Those
counted
are
it.
6 letters. Damon.
I'm sorry, 1 second. There needs to be a
I am ready.
accessory deletion.
Blackbirds.
all but one bracelet.
They're making noises.
Thank you, darling.
My apologies. I don't know how.
You kept the best one.
That was so nice the way she said it, because I'd have been like, take that. She was like, can I have all but one? Can I have all
But you know, I knew they were going to say that because I did something and I hit it right here, and I was just like,
Yes, everyone, can you please be careful to your microphones to not hit them, Demond?
Yes, I'm sorry.
And he's got the little bitty one.
Like $16.95.
I felt like we were on a roll before
5,
Loretta
4,
Librarian
3,
stepped into
2,
the...
1.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us tonight on our show talking about forgiveness and the word hate. To our studio audience, thank you for being here tonight, and all of you who have been writing into us and giving us your feedback and letting us know how you feel. We really do appreciate it. So we're going to sign off, and we'll see you again when next we speak. Thank you.
Yeah.